For the last 4 months, you have seen pro-European parts of Bulgarian society protesting against corruption in the country, waving EU flags. Are you afraid that by supporting Borisov and Gerb, that EPP is disappointing your core supporters in Bulgaria?
The situation in Bulgaria is not black and white. It's my opinion. We have good reasons to be concerned when it comes to the effectiveness of judiciary system in Sofia or anti-corruption mechanisms in Bulgaria. But at the same time, it would be an exaggeration if we say that Gerb and Бойко Борисов, they have built an authoritarian regime in Sofia. We have still some sort of checks and balances in Bulgarian political system. For example, we have still a very strong opposition towards Gerb government and Бойко Борисов, and with the president of the country in its ranks, we have still free media, also able to attack and to criticize the government. And what is the most important thing for me is that we will have in the next few months parliamentary election in Bulgaria, which means that still everything is in the hands of the people in Bulgaria. Because I have known him for so many years, and I know that that he has still good intentions. But you are right; good intentions are not enough in politics, for sure. And this is why we need more acts, more deeds, more efforts from the Gerb party side and Бойко Борисов personally, to convince us that they are really determined in their fight against corruption and some problems with the judiciary system in Sofia. And the last thing is that we have to be aware that the political landscape in Bulgaria it's more complex than only the conflict between Gerb party and the opposition. As you know, Russia is very active in Bulgaria also. Also the Turkish activity and the infights, internal conflicts between the oligarchs in Bulgaria. This is also another element of this very complex issue. As I said, I don't want to justify everything what Бойко Борисов did, but I still hope that in March it will be absolutely clear what is the will, what is the decision of Bulgarians voters.
You mentioned many times both corruption and rule of law. What is your opinion, or what's the EPP opinion about this super powerful prosecutor general in Bulgaria who's playing a big political role?
I don't want to go too deeply in some details. I'm not maybe the best expert of the judiciary system in Bulgaria, but one thing must be absolutely clear. Everyone who wants to govern the EU's country must show its determination in its fight against corruption, undoubtedly. And this is why what I expect from Бойко Борисов and from the Gerb party is more determination in their fights against corruption and this oligarch system. This is, for me, one of the most important criteria I can express.
You said that you're a good friend of Mr. Borisov. You've talked to him many times. Did he ever explain these pictures of him with these lots of 500 euro banknotes that was triggering many of the protests in Bulgaria? Was that something he ever explained, how that came about?
Yeah. I still remember our tete-a-tete meeting with Бойко Борисов, and he tried to explain in details the whole scandal. And he sounded very frank, and his story was really, scaring in some sense. But it's a good plot for a criminal movie and good literature. But to be serious, he's in troubles. He made clear mistakes also in his private life. He was quite open with me. But what I felt, it's my impression, not because we are friends. I've been friend with Viktor Orban for so many years, much longer than with Бойко Борисов. But friendship is something different than clear and cold political assessment. And here I have no doubt that Бойко Борисov must prove that his intention is something real. And I want to be discreet because it was a very it sounded like confession, and please allow me be more discreet because it was also about his private life. But I still hope that he's able to prove that he's not maybe an ideal Democrat, but still Democrat.
So he's still good enough for EPP.
Yes, if Бойко Борисov and GERB, this the only problem in EPP, I would be the happiest guy in town,